Hours of waiting in line. I'm Troy Washington. Just ahead, we'll show you what some Hoosiers are doing just to wait in this line.
And as those long lines continue, extended hours just announced at one busy polling place in Marion County.
Some light showers around central Indiana now, but we'll focus on heavier rain for Thursday.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
Now, first at 5, big news for Marion County voters who continue to stand in long lines to vote early. The Marion County Clerk's office just announced that voting hours will be extended at the City-County building only. That's through Sunday. Starting tomorrow through Friday, the hours at the clerk's office will be 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., an extension of 2 hours. On Saturday and Sunday, the hours will be 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., 4 hours longer. Monday's hours remain the same, 8 a.m. to noon. Early voting ends at noon Monday. As of yesterday, more than 55,000 Marion County residents had already voted early in person. That is double the number from 2016, the last presidential election. Again, the extended hours only apply to the CCB, not the 5 satellite locations where lines continue to be long as well. More voting machines have been added, but people continue to wait hours to make their voices heard. WRTV's Troy Washington is live from St. Luke's United Methodist Church, one of the early voting sites. Troy, what's that wait time like right now?
Just under 2 hours, and I went inside. I counted those polling machines. There are at least 24 inside, and once you get in, they're all spaced out for social distancing. So once you get out of this line, it's actually smooth sailing inside. Here's the issue: the wait time. Early voters can expect to wait at least 2 hours here, but possibly 3 to 4 hours. It's gotten to the point that some Hoosiers can't go to work and to the polls in the same day.
I started to come yesterday. I said you can't do it on your day when you get ready to go to work. You got to do it when you're on a day off.
Now, here's the thing. Once you get inside, you will be allowed to vote if you're still standing in this line at 7 o'clock. They do have sanitizing stations all lined up here. We'll keep you updated. Reporting live on the north side, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Thank you, Troy, for that. And in Marion County, there is a website you can check before you go vote to see how long you'll have to wait. It is indyvotetimes.org. For example, right now, the wait time at the Lawrence Township Schools Administration Building is about 2.5 hours. And at the Warren Township Government Center, it's about an hour. Again, that website to check is indyvotetimes.org. For some voters, long lines is not their primary concern. Just getting to the polls is the first obstacle they need to overcome. So companies and organizations are stepping up to help you get to the polls. All of Indigo's fixed routes and open door services will be free on November 3rd from the start of service until 10 p.m. No fares at all. Go Vote Indy is also joining them, giving free rides on Election Day. Uber is offering 50% off your fare on Election Day, and Lyft is offering free rides. There's also Souls to the Polls, a group of Marion County ministries offering rides in Marion County. Pastor Clyde Posey says they are doing everything they can to keep voters safe.
They may have lost their car. The car might be down and unable to fix it. There's senior reasons, there are health reasons, disabilities. A couple of our buses are ADA approved, and so that we're able to pick up whatever person's condition that they present to us with. And of course, there's PPE in effect the whole time, and every bus before pickup is sprayed and sanitized with an air fogger sprayed down between every trip.
Posey says they will be practicing proper social distancing protocols. They will have masks and gloves for riders. For more information on how to catch a ride, head over to WRTV.com. In less than 2 hours, the 3 candidates running for governor of Indiana will debate for the second and final time ahead of Election Day. That's a week from today. WRTV's Rafael Sanchez asked our political insiders if tonight's debate will make a difference.
We saw last week the 3 men running for governor of Indiana sort of hash out the issues. They did not need a mute button, but they talked about the issues. Will this make a difference in any way, Megan Robertson?
I don't think so. My guess is there won't be a lot of people tuning in as long as there's no kind of, real issue where Eric Holcomb makes a huge mistake. I just don't see it really having an impact on the race.
These debates can be incredibly helpful to get your message out, especially for Woody Myers because he's not on television. And Donald Rainwater, it'll be really interesting to see if he's peaked. It really seems like a few weeks ago he was really gaining steam, and the air feels like it's being let out of the balloon a little bit, especially because our COVID cases keep going up.
Should Vice President Mike Pence be campaigning after a number of his staffers came down with COVID-19? Now, granted, the administration says that the vice president is being considered an essential worker.
You can be an essential worker from a lot of places. And so if I were coaching the vice president, I would say, no, you probably shouldn't be out there. When Kamala Harris got exposed to COVID because somebody working on a flight that she was on had been exposed, she took 4 days off of the trail.
Any other American who is exposed to COVID-19, which the way Mike Pence has been, is required to quarantine for 14 days. That's the rule. And he apparently doesn't think the rules apply to him. I think it tells you a lot more about Mike Pence than the image that he's trying to present. But we don't really need to convince people of that in Indiana because they know him and they know what he's like.
Our political insiders, we thank you for your insights. Democracy 2020, our coverage continues right now on WRTV.com.
And the debate between incumbent Republican Eric Holcomb, Democrat Woody Myers, and Libertarian Donald Rainwater starts at 7. They will answer questions submitted by the public. You can watch the debate live at WRTV.com, our Facebook and Twitter pages, or on the WRTV app on your favorite streaming device such as Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire Stick. And with only 1 week now until Election Day, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden are on aggressive campaign schedules in an attempt to win every last bit of support. More than 66 million voters have already cast their ballots in this election, but the political fight for the White House is far from over. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the latest.
Former Vice President Joe Biden spending an entire day in Georgia, a state no Democrat has won in nearly 30 years.
I know we can unite and heal this nation.
The state is one of 6 battlegrounds Biden is expected to campaign in this week in an effort to flip votes President Trump won in 2016. President Trump also hitting the campaign trail hard, planning to stump in nearly a dozen states this week.
We're going to have a great red wave. People that want to go out and vote.
With 11 rallies scheduled in the final 48 hours before Election Day. In the final days before Election Day, dueling campaign ads hitting the airwaves. The Trump campaign with this 30-second spot.
While America's cities burned, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris fanned the flames.
Calling protesters against racial injustice rioters and claiming Biden and his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, have abandoned police. In their closing message ads, Biden targeting Latino and black voters.
This is Joe Biden. Black lives matter, period.
While focusing on a message of unity.
Together we can fix this.
Back on the campaign trail as coronavirus cases, deaths, and hospitalizations surge across the country. Biden and his surrogates continue to hammer President Trump on his pandemic response.
COVID, he's complaining. He's jealous of COVID's media coverage.
Trump defending himself before heading to his first campaign stop of the day.
One of the things we've done a really good job on is COVID. We would have millions of people dead.
According to PolitiFact, the millions of COVID-19 deaths Trump mentioned came from a warning about what would happen if the U.S. took absolutely no action against the virus. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
And next Tuesday, WRTV is your place for all your Election Day coverage. We will be with you all day through the WRTV app. On your streaming device, we will also provide you live results throughout the night here on WRTV with the complete wrap-up on the news at 11. Kevin.
Well, if you've been outside recently, you know the drizzle and mist is in place. Intermittent wipers if you've been driving around. Tomorrow, I'd say over the next 24 hours will be a relatively dry stretch. Tomorrow, warmer as a result, will be up to 58. Then the focus quickly shifts to Thursday and our heavier rain potential. There are some very light showers from Anderson, Pendleton, on down to McCordsville, Fortville, and Greenfield in Hancock County as we broaden the view. You can see these are hit and miss, and some of the very light showers are a drizzle not showing up on the radar, but the low cloud cover tells the story. You should see Lucas Oil Stadium there. You don't as a result of the low clanging clouds. 50 in Shelbyville. Temperature in Indy at 46. We're locked in. Once the air's saturated like this, very difficult to change the temperature. So tomorrow, as we dry out a bit, we'll also warm up. Between now and 11, we'll continue with some patchy drizzle, even some fog. Temperatures, they'll stay in the 40s. 6 out of the next 7 days all have something in common. We'll talk about what that is shortly. Amanda?
Thank you, Kevin. Now let's get to today's numbers that help tell the coronavirus situation in Indiana. Today, the state health department reported an additional 51 deaths of people with COVID. That's the highest report since May. Those deaths all occurred this month between the 16th and yesterday. The overall number is closing in on 4,000. And for the 6th straight day, more than 2,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19. Today's number is 2,009. Now, those results recorded between Thursday and yesterday. The statewide total is nearly 167,000 since March. The overall positivity rate is up from yesterday. It's now at 10.1%. A rise in COVID-19 cases is forcing a change of plans for some school systems. Today, Pike Township schools announced that some students would be going back home for virtual learning for at least part of their school week. Starting next Monday, all 3 of Pike Township's middle schools will revert to a hybrid schedule. Students will be in class 2 days a week and doing virtual learning for the other 3 days. A spokesperson for the school district says the new schedule will be in place for at least 2 weeks or until the positivity rate in Marion County starts to come down. Pike High School will remain on its current hybrid schedule, while the township's elementary schools will continue full-time in-person learning for now. South Putnam Schools is also making changes, sending some of their students home because of concerns about coronavirus. South Putnam Middle and High School will move to virtual learning for at least the rest of this school week. Putnam County is among those in the state's yellow category for COVID-19 spread as of last week due to a rise in cases and the positive test rate. The CDC has released steps for voters to minimize your risk of exposure to COVID-19 when you go to the polls. It's similar to the guidance for most things. The CDC suggests bringing your own supplies, such as a mask and hand sanitizer. Wear that mask and stay 6 feet away from others.
Most infections occur from asymptomatic patients, so you don't know that the person in front of you who's not wearing a mask, who doesn't seem to have any symptoms, isn't infected and might infect you. But don't be afraid to vote. Vote, but be very careful and do the things we have been recommending from the start.
The CDC says the more prepared you are when you go to vote, the more you reduce your risk from getting and spreading COVID-19. The Vatican is trying to convince Pope Francis to wear a mask in public. That's according to the Vatican's coordinator for its COVID-19 commission. The spokesman says he is hopeful the Pope will start to wear masks soon, especially since he is in the high-risk age group for COVID. Pope Francis has been criticized for not wearing a mask in public, particularly at his Wednesday general audience in the Vatican. It's attended by several hundred people in close contact. Still ahead on WRTV, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway cancels lights at the Brickyard, why you won't be driving around the track this holiday season. Unwanted texts, political campaigns are sending out billions of them. You can stop those messages if you find them annoying.
And the blues represent the cool temperatures that we've gotten used to recently. We'll talk about a pattern change that will bring some warmth back.
Hiring Hoosiers initiative is sharing news tonight about more than 5,000 jobs. Amazon wants to fill more than 5,400 seasonal positions in Indiana. These are full and part-time jobs to get through the holidays. Pay starts at $15 an hour. For information on how to apply, look for this story at hiringhoosiers.com. Have you received any unwanted texts lately? Americans will receive more than 3 billion. Yes. That's billion with a B, political text messages this year, according to the app RoboKiller. Consumer reporter John Mattery shows us some easy ways to stop them so you don't waste your money.
First, it was unwanted calls, then it was unwanted emails, and now text messages that are driving voters crazy this election year. But there are ways to stop them. They pop up at all hours of the day. Political text messages urging you to help turn the country red or blue to vote for Joe Biden or President Trump.
I have received text messages from.
Just about every voter has.
Oh, yes, I got a lot of strange text messages.
What are they telling you?
They're just telling me to vote for this person, vote for that person.
The worst is when these texts distract you from something you should be focusing on, such as cooking dinner or driving. So how do they get your number? Usually from your voter records.
When you register to vote, your voter file is public record. Usually when you do that, you provide your phone number and it is accessible to campaigners.
Julia Porter is with RoboKiller, an app that blocks both spam phone calls and texts. She says the easiest solution is to text the word stop back to the sender, assuming it's not a scammer.
So it is okay, if you do feel like this is a message from a real campaign, you actually can reply and ask to be removed from a list.
Meantime, iPhones have an almost secret text blocking feature, according to the tech site ZDNet. Go to Settings, Messages, and turn on Filter Unknown Senders. Finally, if you get both spam texts and phone calls, consider an app like RoboKiller or several others for a few dollars a month. If these texts are bothering you,
I don't like it. It's uncomfortable.
The good news is you can stop them. The good news, most cell plans these days include unlimited texting, so at least they're not running up your bill. I'm John Matarese, WRTV.
It's lights out for a popular Christmas event at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The track announced today Lights at the Brickyard is canceled this year. The track released a statement saying that to allow for end-of-season testing and track maintenance, Lights at the Brickyard will not be held this year. A spokesperson said they will reevaluate in 2021 about the event's future. Lights at the Brickyard began in 2016. And Kevin, that's always a good event.
Let's talk about something else, color.
Oh, I was going to say.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
Sorry, it's hard with you at home. It's hard. It's nice for that event because you can be inside, especially if it's a day like today where it's a little chillier.
It's got some history with it. You cruise with the family through there. They'll be back. That's my prediction. Okay, so from the colorful lights in Speedway to the colors at Eagle Creek Park. So you look at the leaves, I'll look for deer. Anytime I'm driving along West 56th Street there, you're always on the lookout for deer. They're usually out eating along just between the road and the tree line, and trees are looking good, aren't they? All right, let's talk about for a second here, Zeta. That's the national weather story. Will have somewhat of an impact on the Hoosier State. This has lost strength temporarily, passing over landfall, the Yucatan Peninsula. That friction then slowed it down a bit, 65-mile-per-hour winds, but it will gather strength again. Hurricane status should be Category 1. Late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night, it makes landfall and then curves to the right from there. Now, this shows anywhere from 1/2 inch to 2.5 inches of rain. Notice it says over the next 7 days. We can narrow that down to Thursday, because that's when we'll have our rain as a result of two kind of systems colliding. And it looks like spots south of Indy more likely to have the 2 inches with some isolated higher amounts. We have drizzle now, just some very light showers. If lower 60s is average, you can see we're not going to be at average. As a matter of fact, Thursday temperatures will be stuck in the 40s. Friday, we'll struggle to maybe hit 50, but probably not. So as we get back into the upper 50s at times in the 7-day forecast, that'll feel like a warm-up, even though they're still below average. Tomorrow, a little bit of a break between systems. We'll have a decent amount of cloud cover, and the cloud cover will increase in the afternoon, but hopefully we see some rays of sunshine. Temperatures in the upper 50s, a little cooler than that to the north. The wind will be relatively light, start coming out of the southwest. Watch as I play this from tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We'll let it roll. There comes the hurricane moisture that dives through Alabama and then northern Georgia. Then northwest of that, there's a horizontal kind of plume of tropical moisture from Texas across the Hoosier State, dividing Indiana. Then that will pull away early on Friday. That's why I think the rain is confined mainly to Thursday. Might be about an 18-hour stretch where just after midnight tomorrow night through almost the evening or 8 or 9 o'clock Thursday evening, it will be windy to go with those wet conditions and relatively cool temperatures. Well, no, definitely cool temperatures. That'll be a raw day. Temperatures staying in the 40s. Then we emerge Into the weekend, it includes some sunshine. 56 Saturday, lower 50s on Sunday. Remember, full moon. It will be a dry Halloween, and we'll set our clocks back 1 hour as we go to sleep. Sunday, some sunshine, 52. Monday morning, do you see that, Amanda? 29. That is the low temperature, coldest in the 7-day forecast.
The IndyCar season just ended 2 days ago, but drivers already have their eyes on 2021 when you can see some of them in action at IMS this week in person and for free. Fan-attended IndyCar opportunities were extremely limited this year at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway due to COVID. But tomorrow and Thursday, you can see some of the drivers in action as they start preparing for the 2021 Indy 500, and it's free. Newly crowned IndyCar champion Scott Dixon, Ed Carpenter, Ryan Hunter-Ray, Joseph Newgarden and Pato O'Ward, and reigning Indy 500 champ Takuma Sato will be testing tomorrow and Thursday at IMS. Newgarden and Sato test tomorrow from 11 to 6. All 6 drivers are scheduled to test Thursday from 10 to 6. Also, new Penske driver Scott McLaughlin is expected to get time tomorrow to complete rookie orientation. Fans are invited to watch for free from the Turn 2 viewing mounds. Now, masks must be worn and there must be social distancing. Enter through Gate 2 from 16th Street. You will get a temperature check. A major increase in online shopping scams during the COVID-19 pandemic. All new at 6. We'll show you what to look for when trying to figure out if a website is legitimate. It's information that will help you protect your money and identity.
A window into an effort to keep people safe and healthy in the workplace. I'm Rafael Sanchez. That story coming up on WRTV.